Hi, I'm Billy Joel. You guys remember me?
Billy Joel, completely retold. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of It's Still Billy Joel to Me. I've been seeing some posts, people asking about the People magazine for this week, if everybody's been able to get a copy. So I ran out and grabbed a copy, did a little recording reading it, and going to put some pictures that I saw in the article for all you guys that aren't able to see it from around the world. That's the cool thing about Retold. We got fans from around the world. So it takes about 15 minutes if you got time to listen. Otherwise, come back when you got some time. And don't forget to check out my Patreon. I got a link at the end so you can, if you want to sign up and help out. All right, check it out. Billy Joel, Secrets of a Rock Legend. Exclusive interview, his songs, loves, health, and more. The Piano Man overcame a tough childhood, alcohol abuse, and mental health struggles. As a new documentary reveals the complicated man behind the myth, Joel and his inner circle open up like never before. Music saved my life. From People magazine, issue from August 4th, 2025. Sharing a bond. Joel, in 1980, says his favorite part of performing is the communal aspect. Everybody's on the same page. With a revealing new documentary, the Piano Man faces the music and looks back on the high notes of an enduring career by Rachel DeSantis. Billy Joel likes to let his music do the talking. Take, for example, Vienna, a song about the legendary rocker's complicated relationship with his late father, Howard. Or his 1973 track, You're My Home, a romantic ode to his first wife, Elizabeth Weber. Through a catalog of more than 120 songs, Joel, 76, has made expressing himself through music his forte. But speaking about moments that shaped him, that's a different story. One that is being told for the first time in a new 2-part HBO documentary, Billy Joel, and So It Goes, now streaming. I've resisted this kind of thing for so long. I'm sick of talking about myself, Joel tells people. Some of the stupid stuff I did that's painful to talk about. But they asked me for some thematic guidance. I said, just tell the truth. And so they did. The documentary, directed by Susan Lacey and Jessica Levin, is a rare, revelatory glimpse into the private world of one of rock music's most enduring acts, and how he overcame substance abuse, mental health struggles, and more to find peace and happiness with his wife, Alexis, and his 3 daughters. He actually thanked me for connecting the dots of his life, and he said, I now understand why I did what I did. Lacey says of Joel, I think it was a revelation to him in some ways as well, this story. When it comes to Joel, there's a story you think you know, which goes like this. Blue-collar Long Island boy grows up to be the piano man, along the way selling more than 150 million records, winning 5 Grammys, nabbing, but loathing, a spot as a tabloid fixture with high-profile romances, and abruptly closing the book in the 1990s on the near machine-like propensity for churning out hits, only to return 2 decades later with the epic record-breaking 10-year Madison Square Garden residency. Songs like Only the Good Die Young, Moving Out, Anthony's Song, and We Didn't Start the Fire remain classics, and Joel remains revered, his longtime booking agent Dennis Arford says, despite the fact that he hasn't released a pop album in 32 years. His authenticity is what's connected people to him for so long, Arford explains. As somebody once said to me, Billy is so ordinary, but so extraordinary. And So It Goes, named after a 1989 single, uncovers the stories fans don't know, like Joel's complicated relationship with his father, a German immigrant who left Joel, his mother, Rosalind, and sister Judy when Joel was only 8. Susan pointed out that a lot of the things I'd been searching for in life were my father. I said, you know what? I think that's true. I was looking for my dad, Joel says. There was some self-relatory stuff. The singer went searching for Howard in his early 20s and eventually found him in Vienna, where he was living with a new family. I would have liked my father to have been proud of me, but we never really made a strong connection, Joel says in the film of Howard, who died in 2011. It's disappointing. Joel's first marriage, amid the nascent career, was also turbulent. When he met first wife Weber, she was married to Joel's best friend and bandmate John Small. In the doc, Joel admits he felt like a homewrecker when he and Weber first got together, and that guilt ultimately led him, in part, to depression and a pair of suicide attempts. He and Weber, who speaks publicly for the first time in the film, married in 1973, and she became his manager. Weber is largely credited as the driving force behind the early career success, releasing 1977's Just the Way You Are, Joel's first U.S. top 10 hit, as a single was her idea. It's a very long time ago, but it was great then, and it's great whenever I think about it, and it's great now. Weber, 77, says of revisiting that period. They divorced in 1982 amid his issues with alcohol and reckless behavior. She left him while he was still in the hospital recovering from a near-fatal motorcycle accident. The late 70s and 80s brought a number of highs for Joel, including the massive success of his 1978 record 52nd Street, which topped Billboard's Top 200 album chart for 8 straight weeks, a string of hit singles, and the birth of his daughter Alexa Ray and his ex-wife Christy Brinkley, 71, in 1985. Through it all, music was the grounding force. The fun part about all those early years, when success really hit, was if there was a piano in the lobby of a hotel after a show, there would be Billy, and we'd be standing around doing Sinatra and singing Beatles songs, recalls Steve Cohen, Joel's friend and lighting designer for 50 years, who is also an executive producer on the film. We got some pictures on this 2-page spread. We'll come back to that in a little bit. The show after the show, we had a ball. Still, there were more lows. Joel's 1993 song, The Great Wall of China, reportedly chronicles the falling out of his former manager and ex-brother-in-law, Frank Weber, whose alleged mishandling of the star's fortune prompted a $90 million fraud and breach of contract suit in 1989. They later settled, though Alexa, 39, calls the betrayal a life-changing tragic event for her father in the film. Joel also struggled with negative reviews, even as his artistry shifted to better reflect the state of the world. He was a genius before his time. I think a lot of the critical pushback was because I don't think the public was ready for that, Cohen says. Critics have changed their tune. Joel was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999. There was even a brief tension with rock's other piano man, Elton John, as Joel resented comparisons between the two. I got over it, he says in the film, noting that he and John went on tour together for years. Joel's last pop album, River of Dreams, came in 1993, the year before he and Brinkley divorced after 9 years of marriage because, in part, of his drinking. The next decade brought more joy and more heartbreak. He married celebrity chef Katie Lee, 43, in 2004, only for them to divorce 5 years later as he continued to wrestle with his alcohol abuse. Joel's self-described rock bottom finally came when John publicly said in 2011 that Joel should seek treatment again after several failed stints in rehab. That same year, Joel decided to step away from performing and essentially retire from public life. I thought he was done, Cohen says. He was going through some really tough stuff. And I think at that time we all saw this guy just not have the fire or the passion to perform. It felt like that it was a burden to be Billy Joel. But in the back of my head, I always knew that there was something about walking on that stage and getting that response from the audience that I don't think he could live without. Some more pictures we'll go back to. Cohen was right, and in 2014, Joel kicked off his historic Madison Square Garden residency, where he played more than 100 shows through July 2024. It became his church and his house, said Arfa. Joel adds that the fan support is staggering to me. It's a blessing in my life. With all he's endured, Joel is embracing his current serenity. He married fourth wife Alexis, 43, in 2015, and they share daughters Della, 9, and Remy, 7. I'm really enjoying this time in my life, he says. I didn't have a dad, so it was very important to me to be a dad. It's something I was looking forward to all my life, and here I am. His friends have taken note. I said to him the other day, we should go on a boys' trip, Cohen recalls. He said, I'd get sick of being with my kids for a while. He doesn't want to be anywhere else. Joel's family has also been a solid support system as he faces his latest challenge, a recent diagnosis of normal pressure hydrocephalus, a treatable brain condition that can affect hearing, vision, and balance, which forced him in May to cancel all scheduled concerts. I know a lot of people are worried about me and my health, but I'm okay, Joel says. I'm doing my best to work with it and recover from it. It was scary, but I'm okay. And Joel is hardly retiring. I think music saved my life. It gave me reason to live, he says in the film. My hope was that my music would continue to resonate, and I'm glad it has. But I'm not finished. All right, we go back to some pictures here. Going back to the very first page, we've got Journey of a Legend, Born to Perform. Co-director Jessica Levin calls Joel in 1962 a living encyclopedia of music. The Entertainer. His stories are honest human stories, Steve Cohen says of Joel on stage in 1977. Young Love with first wife Elizabeth Weber in 1978, whose son Sean says the film has been totally healing. Beauty and the Backstreet Guy. Joel cast then girlfriend Brinkley in the 1983 Uptown Girl music video. Big Shots. Joel was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999 by his baby grand collaborator, Ray Charles. Gen Z Connection. Joel invited pop star Olivia Rodrigo to join him for Uptown Girl in New York City in 2022. Still Rock and Roll. The doc is a great way to be connected to him while he's not performing and not visible as much in the public, Dennis Arfa says of Joel around 1985 in this photo. It gives us him to hold on to. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I've grown from them. The stories behind the songs. Big Shot, 1978. In the documentary, Joel describes the sneering 52nd Street tune as a hangover song, adding, I don't know how many times I woke up in the morning realizing I was an idiot the night before. I did a lot of my own research for Big Shot. It's partly about me and partly about somebody else. It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, 1980. His first number one hit was a satirical commitment to rock amid changing music industry. As genres like new wave came into popularity. When we did the album Glass Houses, there was a lot of criticism of, well, he's trying to be punk and new wave, Joel says in the doc. We Didn't Start the Fire, 1989. A hit from Stormfront, the song rattled off a number of significant world events between 1940s and 1980s. I went year by year, he recalls in the doc. The headlines keep coming. There's a palpable sense of history because of these headlines. Soliloquy on a Separation, 2001. The song on his classical album Fantasies and Delusions was about my daughter Alexa visiting with me after we got divorced, Joel says in the film, The Split from Brinkley. Those emotions I was having weren't something I could easily write with lyrics. Billy's always been a man of the people. He's always been the same guy. Steve Cohen. Power of Song. He was always a fighter. He overcame a lot, co-director Jessica Levin says of Joel in 2021 picture here, inset with his band in February. The music helped him to express his emotions and to cope. And That's the article for those of you who couldn't find it. We love you, Billy. Hope you get well soon, and just keep on rocking.